What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, getting down with Fresh Out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the channel, represent. Go to freshoutseries.com, subscribe to the website, pick you up a wig splitter limited edition t-shirt, and we keep it 100 over here. I got my man Dominic from DC, man. This man had an incredible life. He's doing some beautiful things in the community, helping a lot of people, and I was fortunate enough to have him come out here to share his story. And Dominic, I know you've seen the thick and thin of things on both sides, and I always warn our young people, man, about getting caught up in things that seem too good to be true. And a lot of young people today, they think, jail's a joke, and because of like the lax laws and they can get away with stuff, they're thinking that it's a free-for-all. And I always tell people, these small things lead to bigger things. I used to run up in stores, I've stole clothes, did things, and then it just led to me doing other shit. Mm-hmm. And eventually I was running up in spots with pistols. So what advice would you give to these young people, man, when you see these things going on in some of these cities and everybody think it's become the norm, and I don't know what these people's parents are doing or what they're telling their parents they're doing, but these mobs that are going in and stealing stuff, man, and they're thinking that it's cool. What would you tell these young people, man?
One thing I want to tell this story about Eric Johnson. I hate using names, but I have to use his name. This is a young guy. I met him. I was in USP Allenwood, and what happened is that he called himself competing with other people and bringing drugs in the neighborhood, in the institution. So he was so far gone, he had his mother bring him drugs in the business hall. I mean, this was one of the, and it hit me in a way because this was my little man. And when they locked his mother up from the business hall, they locked her up. She stayed locked up for a while. And that decimated his family because she was the breadwinner. They lost the house. A couple of his sisters they had kids. It was awful. It just destroyed his whole family. And the reason why I bring that up is if you're a youngster and you think about going into these stores and doing this type of stuff, I want you to think about what happened when you get on this side, when you continue to do this type of stuff. Because one thing I would add, once you get on this side, your life is over as you know it. You don't have no more freedoms. You can wake up one morning and it say if you from DC, you have a situation now, you and the Pisces Mexicans, I'm just giving an example, get ready to go to war because somebody else done something. And you wake up that next morning, now you at war with somebody you don't know nothing about because you came to prison. You lose your freedoms like you wouldn't believe when you come to prison. Not only that, I want y'all to think about this. Through my 35 years, I've been incarcerated 35 years. I lost a grandfather, grandmother, siblings. I lost about 8 family members. I would never get that back because I wanted to be a gangster. It's so much stuff you lose when you come to prison. And I don't want that for nobody.
You know, when you talk about like losses and people don't really, they just think about maybe they think about their boyfriend, girlfriend, or their husband or wife, but you don't realize other people who have impacted. Like I knew, like my little sister, I didn't realize, because she was younger than me. I mean, we didn't really, we hung out, but it wasn't like she was 8 years younger than me, and how I impacted her and how I hurt her in a sense where I didn't realize it, even though I never hurt her. But I hurt her as her brother because I wasn't there, and she looked up to me. And it's the same thing, luckily I got to see my grandmother when I got out, but she said she didn't think I was gonna ever come back. She's like, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. Old people, that's all they do is pray. Mm-hmm. Hoping that somehow you're gonna change in there or you're making home, because she wasn't in the, situation, she wasn't in a situation where she could come visit. And for a lot of y'all, most of these prisons in the middle of nowhere. You get way out there in the middle of nowhere, man, and them guards, some of them people treating their people. I see people get out there, and I never got a visit in prison, but people that come visit, and then they say, oh, they have what they have on is not proper, and they turn them away. And these people don't travel miles to come visit you. So you can't take people for granted. And you thinking, oh man, come out here and see me, man, do this and that. People got lives. And so you put yourself in a situation, you get it taken away, that's on you. Nobody owes you anything. So, this is just something to hopefully wake some of you guys up, because I see you throwing your life away on things that really have no value. And Dominic, what you in prison, you do the math on what these dudes is earning up in there and what you're doing, you're basically doing slave labor. Mm-hmm. Unicor, we see them up in there, guys up in there hardcore working for the factory because they're trying to keep money on their books or doing this and doing that. I mean, it really, if you want to know what it feels like to be a slave, you go up in prison and see what type of work you're doing, and somebody, it ain't a choice. You got to get up in the morning and go.
Yeah. I want to give another example of the horrors. This is a horror. Take COVID-19. When COVID got, imagine this, it's 50 of y'all. 5 of y'all got COVID. You in the same room, breathing the same air, using the same shower, because there's no isolation. There's nowhere to go quarantine. There's no quarantine. That was probably the most, I say disgusting, but awful thing that happened to prisoners, that COVID situation. And I know so many guys that got COVID like that. Some of them didn't even make it because they wanted to commit crimes. And they got caught up and they was in prison with nowhere to go. And they're not gonna take care of you. They're not gonna give you the treatment that you think you're gonna get. That right there is that really hit home the horrors of what happens to you when you go to prison. That COVID-19 was no joke. And still right now today, especially in the federal system, they give you what you call 12 pieces, 12 sheets, them squares.
Yeah.
You don't get a roll of toilet paper no more. You get 12 of them squares a day. 12 squares.
That's what they giving out now?
Yeah. In some of them prisons, that's what they doing. There's no more rehabilitation the way that, it should be because of the COVID situation and.
Well, even like you said, the rehabilitation aspect, tell these people, man, some of them don't understand, like, this is psychological, like, I kind of mentioned off camera to you, man, how you got to keep your mind so strong. Like, I'm like being shackled, and some people, they put you on diesel therapy, and how they have people that's going around places, and you're trying to keep your humanity. You feel like a caged animal. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people, they lose it. literally lose their mind up in prison. Not everybody comes out the same. And you know, like some guys, you see them, they go to that pill line, get on the pills, you know, and literally lose your mind in there. So to try to keep your sanity is a whole nother fight. It's not, you know, physically is one thing, but your mental, you know, to not lose yourself and just the psychology up in there because of how, like you said, certain individuals in prison you got to deal with. Then you have the custody, the guards. And then you know, you're trying to keep your mental, dealing with maybe trying to maintain a relationship on the street with somebody if you can, to have a sense that you still are remembered. Because it's hard when you think like if you're in there and if you don't have anybody that cares, if you don't have anybody who even writes you from the street, what makes you think you even have any value on the street? And so some people don't even care about going home. I've seen people about to get out and mess up purposely. You've seen it, dudes who you're like, what is it? Doing anything getting home? He going home. Sabotage. Mm-hmm. You know, do something so they don't have to justify getting out. So, you know, it's a lot of psychological. I mean, I know you've seen more than I have, man, but you know, people see, you know, they hear things, but you know, like I know I had a partner who tried to escape at Inglewood, and he got sent to Marion. He told me about the lockdown. He said it was no joke, man. That Marion ain't no joke. He was in there. I think he was there for maybe about 6-7 years for trying to escape before they let him back on the main line. And he was telling me, man, just how it was in there and the people you're around and stuff. It's a whole nother psychological thing. To make it out of that, man, and be who you are today, these people have they have no clue.
I remember when I was in Marion, I was cussing the warden out every day. So they chained me down, 4-pointed me. And this went for 7 days. And I think you know how the 4-point thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they uncuffed one hand to eat the bologna and cheese, but I defecated, pissed on myself, maybe like 3-4 times out them 7 days. Stinking. They didn't take me up to wash me or none of that. Every day, the warden came past, and I just want to be honest. He said, "Nigga, you gonna apologize?" And every day I said the same thing. Gave him the finger, cussed him out. That was killing me. I mean, it killed me. I mean, but every day he came in there, I got a sense of energy. And I didn't let them know that. I didn't let them know it. Every day he came in there, I cursed him. I just was cutting up. But that gave me the energy. I know that I couldn't let them break me.
Yeah.
And on the 7th day, he came in there. Exact words, "Nigga, you gonna apologize to me?" And I said the same thing. "Fuck you, you white hunky bitch." Just keeping it, I'm not racist, but that's, you know, that's what I said to him. This happened for 7 days. Then what they did was, he was so shocked that I didn't break in them 7 days. Because most people break after a day of that, being chained down like that. Most people break after a day. 3 days is probably the max. But 7 days, and every day I kept telling myself, stay strong, man. Don't let them break you. Don't let them break you, man. Stay strong, man. I kept telling myself, man. I just kept, and on that 7th day, he came in, he said what he said, I said what I said, and he like, "Man, get him up out of here." They sent me to Springfield. It was they helicoptered me to Springfield. And I got there, and the psych, you know, at that time I was a straight A student in my psychology courses, so I'm talking to the psych, speaking his language, and he's testing me on stuff like Sigmund Freud, behavior theory, Skinner, and all that stuff, and I'm spitting it back at him, and he was like, "Hold up." He said, "Man, ain't nothing wrong with you." You know what I mean? But make a long story short, you know, I fought so hard to keep my sanity. And it's a struggle. And I'm just being honest with you. That's one of the things I'm really, I always prayed and continue to pray that I maintain my sanity, my strength. And that's why I go so hard in doing what I'm doing and helping other people rehabilitate themselves and to help them become better people.
Hey, Dominic, man, I mean, I know your story touched a lot of people, man, and it takes a strong person to keep that type of mental balance, so you guys out there listening, man, look, this shit ain't no joke, and we trying to lace you up, man, so, hey, hit that like, subscribe button, man. Dominic, Big Herc 916, fresh out. You tired of smelling like stanky butt, funky armpits? Wash your ass. Go to FreshOutSeries.com and pick you up a bar of soap.